All right, hi everybody. My name is Mike Toledo. I'm with Kevin Halewood. This is the man that actually puts on the whole show of Mobile Tech Expo. He's been doing it for over 10 years. I know you've been going on, I don't know exactly how long, Kevin, but I'll let you tell them how long you've been doing it. But let me just introduce it to for you. Mobile Tech Expo is a full auto reconditioning show, not just featured for the paintless dent repair, even though paintless dent repair in this Mobile Tech Expo gets a lot of attention because of the Dent Olympics. But there's a lot more to offer besides paintless dent repair. I'll have Kevin explain more, but you started in Orlando, then moved to obviously Clearwater, I heard, and then the Corpus Christi last year, and now you did a full circle back into Orlando, Kevin. So
Right.
give me some history and some background on that. What's going on? How did
Well,
this all happen?
we started our first show was at the Tupperware Center in Orlando, and after the first year, they were closing down the facility because it was becoming part of the local school system, the Osceola school system. So we then moved to the Twin Towers. So we were at the Twin Towers across from Universal for 4 years. So we had 5 years total in Orlando, but the Twin Towers, just the rates kept going up. They wanted to charge for everything from parking to newspapers in the rooms. Like even the guys from Japan and whatnot, they come in, they can't read English, but they were still going to charge them $250 a day for a newspaper. So and a resort fee. And when we questioned that, what's the resort fee? They said we have a pool, and we're like every hotel in Florida has a pool. So we left Orlando not feeling too good about it. Came to Clearwater and had a great response from both the hotel, the facility went real well until the city that owned the property decided to make it into condos, which, by the way, they haven't done that yet. And then that ended after 4 years. So the 10th year we took it to Corpus Christi. Everybody wanted us to move west, and we did. We tried to get into Dallas, San Antonio, Houston, but the best fit for us was Corpus Christi. And it went well. I mean, the biggest problem that we faced was the travel in and out of Corpus Christi, because people traveling, not just international, and we have a lot of internationals, but even domestically, if they flew into Texas, say Dallas, Fort Worth, or Houston Intercontinental, they then had to change airports to be serviced by Southwest, as that's the only jets into Corpus Christi. So getting into Dallas, they had to go from Dallas Fort Worth to Love Field, it's a change of an airport, and same thing for Houston, over to Houston Hobby. The problem there was internationals were making the change with 3 different planes before they could get there. So we figured, let's see what we could do. We looked at New Orleans. We did look at Houston again. Miami and Orlando was the best fit for us for this year so far. And it's just been really, really, we're hammered. I mean, it's going to be a very, very big show, the biggest we've had by far. And just based on the pre-registers, the show itself was sold out by October 17th, and we've never, ever done that. So
Well,
it should be a good show.
Well, and, I guess between the internet now, it's come full force between the forums, DoorDing.com, YouTube, and obviously now what's catching on now is Facebook. I really see it out there, and obviously this is the reason why we're doing this too, is to get the last minute guys who are thinking
Right.
about it. Hey, let's let it hear from the horse's mouth, and you're the director and who puts it all on. Now, anything new that you're going to be putting on, since I've been there for the last few years, but I know you always have a little something different. And, but last year, I have to say, even though it was out in the middle of nowhere, it was packed. It was a lot of people. It was a lot of people.
It was a good show. The other big problem with Corpus Christi was the hotel was so far away from the convention center. It was a good 15, 20-minute ride, because we held the convention in actually Robstown, and the hotel was over in Corpus Christi near the airport. So it was a big drive.
Yeah.
The new for this year is we've got the Larry King Cardiac Foundation, the first annual classic car show. It's going to take place on Saturday. As I said, we sold out October 17th, so we're actually trying to get people in where we can fit them. We've put tabletops in for the very first time we've ever done that. And we also have a very large tent. It's about 100 by 70. And we're putting in tabletops in there. I think McGuire's will probably be in there, some of the wax companies. I think Matrix, the guys at Matrix that do the interiors, Doug and Kian.
Yeah.
They're probably going to be in there. But it definitely, if people have never been to the show and they're on the East Coast, even on the West Coast, this is definitely a show to come to. The camaraderie, it's not like it was in the beginning where, like for the Dent Olympics, it was real competitive. It's still competitive, but it's a much more like brotherhood between the techs.
Yeah.
The Thursday night tech get together just keeps getting bigger and bigger every year. So this year we've taken over the entire bar, and we just got off the phone with the hotel this afternoon. We're going to spread it out into the pool area as well.
Wow.
So it's a definitely a good
Party,
show.
party.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
well, Kevin,
Absolutely.
I enjoy everything about it. It's very diverse. I like the different things that are going on. I saw a lot of interesting things last year, and I was Vail certification.
Yeah.
Was that the first time they were there last year?
First time, yeah.
Yeah,
If I'm not mistaken, it's the first time they certified away from their headquarters.
perfect. And they'll be back this
So
year.
they're back this year, yeah. And we're
Cool.
also doing the 6H rule certification. It's being done by RM Andrus, and they're going to do that, I think, on Saturday. The questions will be answered. We have a Thursday Thursday is the education day, rather, before the tech get together. And there'll be a question and answer session for any of the paint techs who want to learn about it or know about the 6H rule. And then the actual certification will take place on Saturday. And that'll be a 2-hour class that they have to sit through to get certified.
Certified for what? What is that?
It's a 6H rule. I'm not really totally familiar with the mic, but it's a requirement by the EPA
Oh,
that
painting.
when you spray,
Got it.
yeah, it must be a 3-ounce cup.
Gotcha.
And
Yes. Yes.
So it's like a federal law that's gone into effect as of last January.
Yeah, I think
So
they were bringing something up like that last year. I sat in a class like that last year. So yeah, and we not to go off subject, but yeah, we're on the waterborne base and have to do the 3-ounce cups too as well. But
right.
but that's what I'm saying. There's a lot to come there for. It's not just for PDR. It's the whole auto reconditioning industry from
Right.
paint repair.
Right.
I think are they going to have a paint contest
Yeah.
again?
Yeah, we have both a paint contest and a touch-up contest.
Oh, a
The paint
touch-up.
contest is where they're given steel pieces of steel panel,
Uh-huh.
and it's actually been painted and finished. It's then damaged, and they have to restore that piece back to its original condition. And then the other one is the bumper competition. That's the paint competition. And then the touch-up competition is the bumpers, where there's I think 2 cars or 3 cars. The bumpers are actually damaged, the corners of the bumpers, and they have to blend the bumper back in to get it to the original shape. So that last year was very popular. We're doing it again this year. Also, the Dent Olympics this year is through the roof.
Yeah.
We've actually had to get 3 cars, and right now the pre-registrations for the Dent Olympics are well over the entire last year's amount, and we're getting them in every day. So we're trying to accommodate everybody. We are going to have Dent competition, the PDR competition on Wednesday, late afternoon. Once we set the hall up, we were able to get an okay by the fire marshal to actually do some PDR work on Wednesday night. And then Thursday during education day, we're still going to be going through PDR at the same time. And then, of course, Friday and Saturday. So it's actually going to be 4 days of PDR competitors.
Well, I know.
If I'm not mistaken, we've got about 70, I think, right now.
I know it's going to be fun. I'll tell you what, Kevin. I talked to some PDR techs even here in San Diego, and actually just met a couple that I've never met before, and called me on the phone. And I'm telling you what, I think there's about 8 PDR techs, new guys who've never been from San Diego, and I think half of them already entered into the PDR contest. So PDR,
Yeah, I believe it.
so that just gives you a more bit there.
Right. It's really like a brotherhood, and it's not just paint guys and PDR guys, but they get to meet, mingle at the tech get together, talk to each other, and get ideas how they can network back in their hometowns. I mean, we've got a group in Tampa, Florida, that started a networking group, and they meet every few months at a local restaurant just for drinks and for dinner. And there's dent guys, there's detailing guys, interior restoration guys, and they all sit down, have a beer, and talk about the industry and how they can help each other. And it's gotten to the point where from that and from Mobile Tech Expo, guys that prior to it were at each other's throats, competitive back in their hometown, are now to the point where, hey, I need to go on vacation next week,
Yeah.
and can you cover for me? And it's been going great.
And
It's really working out.
So it basically it's a like a networking thing. It's a
Right.
round table thing for
Right.
network, and and you know what I always say, that power is in numbers. So besides that, I mean, you guys, as far as like people coming into town, what kind of amenities are around there? What can they do in that part of the town of Orlando?
tons of stuff. We're about a mile from Disney. So you're at Disney's door. There is a bus right from the hotel to Disney. Down the road, not many people know about it. It's called Old Town. It's an old, like amusement park. It's supposed to be Old Town USA. And on Friday and Saturday nights, they have a car cruise. So it's all, automotive themed. And local car clubs, the Mustang Club or just classic clubs, will actually cruise the streets on Friday and Saturday night. It's a big deal for the tourists. And then in Main Street itself, there's like an ice cream shop, different types of stores, like touristy stores. They've got bungee jumping, and it's free to go in. So there's no charge for that, unlike the parks. Of course, the parks are expensive, but you've got everything. There's a ton of restaurants.
So technically, it's great for the guys or gals to come and bring their families, let their families go do their own thing while the guys hang out and, just basically learn about the auto reconditioning industry. So
absolutely. And the families are welcome to the show. We've been that way since our very first show. When I started this, my kids were little and now big, but I always felt that as an industry, we're younger, we're growing, and our families need to know about the industry just as much as you do in a way. They need to know what mom or dad are doing, and so we've always allowed it, even when it was not the norm and really against the grain, such as SEMA and NACE, the big shows, where they wouldn't allow children. We always have, because we always feel it's a family industry.
Well, it sure is. I mean, I don't know how many other PDR techs work by themselves. It is usually a family thing. I mean, my wife, without her, I probably wouldn't be able to basically run the company. But it's great, Kevin. You know what? You put a lot of hard work into it. I don't think really people understand how much work. It's not just, okay, you put on the event and you're done. You constantly are working right again for the next year.
Yeah, we start right in. We take about a week or two off. And then it starts right all over. You have to get the contracts out, with the different venues that we're going to attempt to go into, and start the whole thing all over. But it's fun. It's a great show. You'll find some of the, I don't want to say characters, because they're actually attendees that come. I think, Mike, Freddie Jonker he's from the Netherlands, and they call him Dutch Cowboy because he walks around the show in wooden shoes. And I used to say, Freddie, don't your feet hurt? And he says, you'd be surprised how comfortable they are. And then I think it was Sid Emmerich from Dent gave him a hat, a Stetson, a real nice cowboy hat. So you'd see him walking the show with his clunk, wooden shoes and his Stetson. And then the following year, he brought the wooden shoes for Sid, So it's been it's really a good show. And unfortunately, we lost Sid this year.
Yeah.
And so the Thursday night tech gets together. We'll have a little bit of a little memorial. We have some awards to give out. There was a gentleman in our industry, a PDR tech. I didn't personally know him. He was going from his hometown to Chase Hale in another part of the country, a few states over, and was murdered at a rest stop. And so they didn't know about it. We've been having the Mentor of the Year award, I think it is the Rufus Lowry. That was a gentleman that was murdered. And every year, we give out that award, the PDR Mentor of the Year award. And his daughter found out about it this past year, and they're bringing their entire family. So there'll probably be about 30, 35 Lowrys or members, because they didn't know what their dad did, and they're really, excited and want to see what it was all about. Yeah. So we invited all the kids, everybody to come.
Yeah.
Of course, Tom Nations, his family comes, his wife and his daughters. We lost Tom a few years back, and now Sid. We're going to have an award for Sid this year too. So.
Yeah, so it's a lot of good people in the industry. I mean, there's a lot of contributors. I know Sid, really loved to fly, and and that's the way. Obviously, unfortunately, he went too. But we all give our thoughts and prayers to his family. So
right.
But you know what? I just wanted to touch base with you, Kevin. I know this is going to be one of your biggest shows yet. I know it keeps getting bigger and we keep talking about it, but I think it's great that people know what this is about and know who you are behind the doors. And anybody out there, I know Kevin's busy, should say hi to him. He's a really super nice guy. And Kevin, I know you're busy, and I really appreciate your time and letting me.
I just wanted to say one other thing, Mike. If anybody's coming to the show wants to say hi, just stop. I'll be running around like a chicken. Just stop me and say hi. I enjoy that. But the other thing is, they can now sign up on the website. And what they can do for pre-registration, because that has to be in by December 31st, they can click on its attendee badge, fill out that form, and then when they get there, they'll still be honored with the pre-registration rate. So it's only $10. Even though they haven't paid it, they can do it online and we'll still honor it when they get there. And the benefit also to that is their name badge will be ready for them when they get there. They won't have to wait in the line.
Perfect. And that's mobiletechexpo.com.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then
Anything? Go ahead.
Up at the top, it says attendees. Click on that, and when you do, it'll say up at the top, it'll say attendee badge. Click that, a badge click, and that'll bring you to the page. You just fill it out, and it comes right over into the office.
Perfect. So anything else they should look out for, like when they check in, or anything you could say to them that maybe, when they get here, just come as you are, and that's it.
Yeah, come to have a good time. If you're going to compete, you're going to enjoy it. A lot of guys get nervous. They do 2 dents. The first one, they get the cobs out and work it out, and the second one, they're usually much better with. But same thing, we have the leather restoration competition. That's usually done prior, so it's judged at the show. And the work vehicle contest, which gets bigger every year. If you have a nice rig that you use, regardless of whether you're doing windshield repair, PDR, interiors, graphics, or detailing, you send in your pictures, and you might win.
Cool. Well, Kevin, I think that's pretty wraps it up. I mean, I'll probably, obviously put some clips in the middle of this video so people can get an idea visually of what we're talking about as well. I'm sure they've seen already a lot of video clips between me and a few other people around that's attended. But again, Kevin, I really appreciate your time. I know it's hard to get a hold of you sometimes and you're busy, but I do appreciate your time, and I'm sure everybody else appreciates.
We finally did it, Mike. My problem was I couldn't figure out the cameras.
No, yeah. No.
Finally got Skype because I have a lot of relatives still in England, so I talk to them.
Yeah.
Over Skype. It doesn't cost much.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't know that you actually had an English accent, and look at you. I mean, it's like, where is it? I occasionally I hear it, but I would never know it.
I still say words that drive my wife crazy. Yeah, I still say words that drive my wife crazy. The other day I was talking about I had to go for a lab test, and I said to someone, I have to go to the laboratory, and they looked at me with 2 heads like. I said, for the blood work. And they said, oh, the I said, oh, the laboratory. So I do slip up. The one that drives my wife crazy is I say a woman's figure, okay, or when you figure numbers, I don't say figure, I say figure.
Yeah.
And it drives her nuts. And I didn't even realize it until one of my relatives came over and they were doing a maths. Also, maths is plural.
Yeah.
And he says, well, you figure it like this, you figure it like that. This is the sum. I was like, oh, now I know where I get it from. But I do. There's some words that'll still slip out. But I came here, very young at 3. My parents sent me back to live with my grandparents in England till high school, and then I moved here. They sent me to a military school. So when you go to military school, you don't want to stand out. So I tried to lose the accent real quick.
Wow, that's the first time I really ever heard that. My uncle's English, and he's got a great, he's a strong accent. But for years he's been here. But again, Kevin, I'll put the URL up there so then they can go directly to the site, and hopefully they join, and I hope you guys do get a lot out of this. But I appreciate the interview though again, Kevin.
I appreciate you doing it, Mike. I really do.
All right,
and we look forward to seeing you.
Oh yeah, I'll be there taking some video as usual, and I'll get some clips. And if people don't realize that I would have had more, but I had a really horrible time with the audio last year, and I lost some really good stuff. But that's another story. But we'll catch up this year on it. So
okay, sounds great.
All right, thanks, Kevin.
Mike.